What? Okay. Hello. As I said, good morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're seeing this. Hope you're having a great day. I sure as know how I've been. I've been fairly relaxed since last time. Like I was streaming yesterday, and as y'all can see, I'm continuing on with uh, the partially scripted format that I did last time. So I'm going to be keeping with it. Welcome to my Super Stoner Bowl Sunday podcast, a video podcast where I talk about the potentials of life, spirituality, and the limits of the human brain in an energetic way. For those that don't know who I am, my name is Marcus Stonelord Exothermal. Today I'm going to be talking about my personal theory on the universes as a whole, the different dimensions, and my thoughts of on each of our universes and how they coincide on top of it and inside our own universe. With this, I'm going to explain my thoughts and how the general idea of the dimensions is a little bit warped. And also, like in all of my Super Stoner Bowl Sunday podcasts, for those that are a little less open-minded or a little more religious, spiritual, sciencey, like sensitive, this is not for you. This is kind of my own personal theories and such. So, with it, I want you to keep in mind that I'm a video gaming medical marijuana activist and a high school dropout who had a couple drugs in my life. No, I will not disclose what I've done in my past just because I'm wanting to protect myself in the future and using my First Amendment right to protect myself. So please take this with a grain of salt. Start out, I'm going to explain my idea of the different dimensions. First off, let's relearn pre-algebra real quick. Who remembers XY coordinate planes? For those that go like this. Ew, math, I know. Trust me, this will start making sense in a little bit. So if you know that your X point is along your horizontal plane, well, I want you to switch your thinking around real quick and imagine instead of the X being a point, think of it as a plane, your first dimension. Your first dimension, excuse me. Your first dimension is now all information along that horizontal space. Keep in mind that the first dimension can be seen even if you go outside, look at the sky. Continuing on with this math analogy, we can also assume that the second dimension is y, because in space there's technically no lines. Using the same thing, we can use all information along x and y along axis as long as the eye can see. This is where we kind of have to keep an open mind. Usually in math, we're taught about the z-axis, which a lot of people think is the third dimension of space. Well, my own personal theory is that the third dimension is the ability to conjoin the first and second dimensions knowledge through time. Reason being is the limitation of light being the fastest thing. So the way I want to describe this to y'all is with the third dimension, a lot of people in math think of it as your X and Y and your Z. Well, I'm taking into consideration light is the fastest thing within our known universe, and with it, that also allows a little bit of personal error in my mind with the sense of that instead of the z-axis being considered the third dimension of space, I more perceive it as the dimension of time, because we're able to perceive our x and y axis beyond time throughout, because with it, light is our light is what we measure to have the concept of time. So that's why I perceive our third dimension to be time instead of space. Continuing on, so instead of being a 3D being a cube, more along the lines of 2 points of information, with our minds perceiving the information perfectly because we've had training for so many amount of time, with whether it's 1 life, 2 life, 3 life, so on and so forth. That's why time can also seem to be faster or slower. Well, if the third dimension isn't the z-axis, then would it be the fourth, and why? That, in my mind, is true because I believe that there's a lot of higher powers and ancestors that coincide with our fourth dimension. Without overcomplicating this, I'm going to show you a couple of clouds from a picture my coworker gave me. Because across from the cloud, shadow, animal familiars, we can blend into our normal life. Even if you've ever felt like you've been being watched from a shadow while alone, a shadow folk might have been keeping an eye on you. So with that, I'm scrolling down, and as y'all can see, it is a picture of clouds, and I want to show y'all. I'm going to decrease the size a little bit of both so that I can better show this. But as y'all can see, there are practically perfect fucking lines within this. And sometimes you can kind of get a glimpse of it whenever you're literally just going down the street and whatnot. Sometimes you'll see like lines of clouds that kind of look like fucking boxes, like it is right here. Okay, yeah. Well, a little bit later along, have another picture of clouds that kind of correlates with the visualizing from the sky, because you can't really tell me that this right here doesn't look like an eye. And with that, they are whoever or whatever this is in the cloud, what energetic being is in this cloud is looking over this, whether it's in any direction or whatnot. But the fact of the correlating, like, looking eye in the clouds, yeah, that one's a little bit of a stretch. But with this one, tell me this doesn't look like a fucking face. And the main one that I ended up seeing, I don't know why, was Sun Tzu. I hope this is fine. I think this partially gets my point across. And then last one where it kind of has more of the spiritual looking esque is this one right here. And right here where I have my mouse kind of looks like a person. And tell me this doesn't look like a cub head. Cub, not cup. Well, even though this episode was only 10 minutes, I kind of just wanted to get this out of the way and let y'all know about what I personally think kind of happens, and just kind of thoughts to get y'all's own mind cranking about what goes on in our natural life. because across these three or four cloud segments, you can see where people might be able to hide. So if you have your own personal perception, you can mentally correlate and piece together where stuff might be hiding and existing at. Either or, y'all. I know that it's shorter, but I hope y'all have a great rest of your day. I'll be back a little bit later whenever I continue on my Pokemon. I'm getting some grinding out done right now. So with that, hope y'all have a great